As the battle with Pariah and the Great Darkness rages on, Damian Wayne Robin must lead a ragtag group of heroes on a dangerous mission behind enemy lines. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Dark Crisis, The Dark Army issue number 1, a brand new tie-in issue, and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, if you're anything like me by now, you're probably saying to yourself, another tie-in? You can't be freaking serious. We just had the penultimate issue of Dark Crisis. The story is almost over. How can this special issue have any bearing at all on what's going on? And the short answer is, it doesn't, and the long answer is, well, stick around and we'll do the long answer. Our POV ride-along character for this issue is, of course, Damian Wayne Robin. You'll remember back in the main Dark Crisis book, he had split away from everyone else to go on a very important mission. Basically, Damian came to the realization that the only way the good guys are going to win this battle against Deathstroke and the Dark Army is if they find a way to break the dark chains that are controlling the minds of not just the villains, but also some of the heroes, to feeding Pariah's plan to bring back the Infinite Earths. To pull off this daring plan, Damian is going to have to recruit a team of fan favorites to follow him on his dangerous outing. We got Power Girl, we got Dr. Light, we got friggin' Sideways, the Spider-Man alike from the Dark Matter universe. Remember him, everyone? Yeah, me neither. But none of those characters are really important because I get the feeling this issue exists solely to be the big arrival point of brand new character Red Canary. She was much touted in the lead up to Dark Crisis. We saw her in the background of a couple panels in the main Dark Crisis book, and yet she's only actually showing up for real here in this story. Which again, I cannot stress enough is almost over. You're probably thinking to yourself too, well surely Red Canary must have some amazing powers, right? No, she has no powers at all. In fact, as we discover, she only recently decided to become a superhero and fill the Black Canary void after it seemed like she was dead. She didn't even bring her own Eskrima sticks to this fight. She just picked some up on the battlefield. Wow, they really are working overtime trying to endear this character to us readers, am I right? In fact, the bulk of this issue is just Damian and the others making fun of her for being young and inexperienced, which is hilarious in and of itself because Damian is literally the youngest person there by a country mile, and also for some reason the artist doesn't know how to draw young people, so Damian A looks taller than he should, and in some panels, especially when we're looking at him face on, he legit looks 35. So what exactly is Robin's plan? Well, using the universe-hopping powers of Sideways, Damian and his team have come to another world that's already been destroyed by the Great Darkness to try and find a cosmic tuning fork, because, you know, that's just classic vintage Crisis story, am I right? Don't ask how Damian knew it was there. He just did okay, and he thinks the secret to undoing the dark chains is related somehow to the tower. Protecting the cosmic tuning fork is, of course, Shadow Demons, because, hey, we gotta get another reference in there to the original Crisis on Infinite Earths from 85. Thankfully, Dr. Light ends up paying dividends in this battle, because her light-based skills are able to make short work of the demons. In fact, when a much bigger version of the Shadow Demons show up, Dr. Light and Power Girl actually pull off a really awesome combo move, wherein Kara shoots Hoshi with her heat vision, but because Dr. Light is a master of being able to redirect energy and turn it into light, she uses it to supercharge herself to deal with the big bad. But oh, we're not done yet. Turns out the cosmic tuning fork actually wasn't what Robin was after. It was just a stop along the journey to get to the Monitor's old space station and the House of Heroes, which lies in ruins following the end of that Justice League Incarnate series. Yeah, remember that? Remember how fun that series was? In a fun bit of continuity, Mark Waid remembers that Power Girl and Dr. Light were actually part of the original Crisis storyline, and as such, they actually know way more about this place than anyone else on their team. Man, isn't it cool when heroes can remember their entire publication history? It's a shame it doesn't happen all that often. Together, the gang managed to reawaken Harbinger, and we discover that the House of Heroes in the Bleed shut itself down on purpose to make sure that the Dark Army and the Dark Chains couldn't use the Orrery to spread itself across the multiverse. Sadly though, now that the power is back on, the zombified version of Justice League Incarnate makes the scene to try and spread their evil. And you're probably thinking to yourself, geez, how is this motley crew led by Robin ever going to hope to defeat this multiversal version of the Justice League? Well, don't worry. The book is sure to go out of its way to remind us that Justice League Incarnate, under the control of the Dark Chains, aren't actually fighting at full power anymore. And much like how Dr. Light was able to deal with the Shadow Demon, she is similarly able to break the Dark Chains by turning herself once again into a being of pure light, and using the old monitor tech to basically give herself one giant super armored upgrade. Justice League Incarnate is saved from the Great Darkness's control, but Damian is let down knowing that his plan to try and break all of the Dark Chains was one giant bust. Still though, the hope is with this extra multiversal muscle, they can return to the final battle and help John and the others win the day against Deathstroke. And because this book is being written by Mark Waid, and Mark Waid more or less seems to have the pen on the next big crossover event in Lazarus Planet, Dr. Multiverse, the new character introduced for that last Justice League Incarnate series, uses her multiversal vision to basically see into the future of the team that Damian brought here. For Robin, we see him donning a Batman costume and fighting Batman over in the Batman vs. Robin series from Waid that's going on right now. We see that Red Canary, whose origins and real name we never actually learned in this story, is going to be joining Green Arrow in his new adventures, probably in his brand new book, courtesy of Joshua Williamson. And be honest, you don't care what the other three are going to be up to as the comic comes to an end. And so that was Dark Crisis, the Dark Army issue number 1, everybody, and once again, this was a completely unnecessary, completely disposable, utterly forgettable tie into the Dark Crisis event. A real shame too, because it feels like Mark Waid has been batting 100 over at DC recently, but hey, this wasn't his story. There wasn't really a lot he could get done outside maybe plant some seeds for some future stuff he's going to be working on. More than anything, this issue feels like it exists just to be the answer to a future trivia question. That being, what was new character Red Canary's first speaking role? Well, it was Dark Crisis, the Dark Army issue number 1 from November 2022. More than anything though, this issue actually makes me a little sad with how Justice League Incarnate was treated. If you'll remember, they were on top of this whole Great Darkness threat before anyone else. They were the ones who actually got the Justice League to join the fight. And yet, despite all that build-up from their own miniseries, they had literally no bearing in the goings-on of the main Dark Crisis storyline, and they're relegated to a frickin' tie-in. A real shame in my eyes. I think they deserved a lot better than what they got. Overall, I would give this one a 4.5 out of 10. Not good. I genuinely felt cheated by this issue in a way that I haven't felt cheated by a tie-in issue in a really long time. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.